Oh man. Can Michael Bay's Transformers movie just die already? Oh wait, it did after this one. Thank God for that. Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Steve's here, and welcome back to another Transformers review. And today, I'm gonna be doing a rant on Transformers: The Last Night. So, Transformers: The Last Night is the fifth installment in the Transformers franchise that came out in the year 2017 and is directed once again by Michael Bay, and it stars Mark Wahlberg, Lara Haddock, Anthony Hopkins, Isabella Merced, Anthony Hopkins, Santiago Cabrera, Gerard Carmichael, Stanley Tucci, Gemma Chan, John Turturro, that's oh yeah, also did I forget Josh Duhamel, did I forget him? I don't know. And so basically, the plot for Transformers: The Last Night, it tells the story of Transformers who are being hunted down by the tier, and now they're in hiding and they must survive. Optimus Prime returns to Cybertron, but then he realizes that Cybertron is destroyed, and then his master Quintessa like brainwashes him into an evil Optimus Prime called Nemesis Prime, and he must come to Earth to retrieve Merlin stuff to be able to bring back Cybertron, and and Mark Wahlberg gets this talisman. As he became the chosen one to be the new Last Night, and so like once he got the talisman, he is invited to go to England to be able to meet with Anthony Hopkins and Lara Haddock's characters, Edmund and Vivian, I think that's their names. And basically, Mark Wahlberg learns about the history of the Transformers, and learning that Transformers have always existed since the medieval times, and now history is being rewritten, and Quintessa wants to use Merlin stuff to destroy the world, and so they must save the world once again, and Vivian apparently must hold the staff, and yeah, that's the plot. Man, yeah, Michael Bay, you just don't know when to quit until you just don't know how when to stop. And you keep trying, and you make us think that you're actually trying by having these so-called brilliant plots, but you're actually just failing, man. Michael Bay is just an awful director, and I'm just sick of it. Although with the exception of some of Michael Bay's movies like The Rock, Armageddon, and Ambulance, which is my favorite of his, and also the Bad Boys movies. I think they're guilty pleasures, even though the best Bad Boys movie is the one that isn't during the Michael Bay, so that says something. So yeah, now despite all the bad Transformers movies Michael Bay did, especially with the fourth one, I was kind of done with this franchise. I was like, oh, am I actually gonna, I was like debating if I should go see this film, like and yeah, at the time I started like at the time like prior to its release, like I think in 2016, that was when I started to realize that Age of Extinction sucks. Even though I said I loved that film back in 2014, I will admit though, the teaser trailer took me by surprise. I was like, wow, this actually looks like a good Transformers movie. I was like really impressed with that trailer. I was like, this could actually be the best Transformers movie, and I was just surprised by how good that was. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna see this one. Yeah, that trailer looked really good, and I mean, it was like, I mean, it looked like it was actually unlike Age of Extinction. The movie looked like it was actually going to have a story, and it sounds like a very interesting story about Transformers being in history, and Cybertron like coming to Earth, and you got this really cool fight scene between Optimus and Bumblebee. Like when I saw that in the trailer, Optimus and Bumblebee fighting, my mind was blown. And I even got to see the trailer in IMAX. Basically, when I saw Rogue One in IMAX, I remember getting the trailer for Transformers last night. So it was such a great experience, and and then I also love the final trailer. The second trailer is alright. Again, I mean, I like that trailer that pretty much trying to introduce the best character in the movie, which I'll talk about her later on in this review. In this review, yeah, the final trailer is great. And then I saw the movie. How do I say this? Now, when I first saw the movie theaters, I will admit, I thought this movie was actually a guilty pleasure. I was like, okay, I was like, okay, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a guilty pleasure. I kind of enjoyed it. Like, it was kind of a dumb fun movie. But, but there was something that really bothered me about the movie. There was something that just bothered me a lot, and I couldn't really handpick it because this movie kind of felt nauseating, and this movie just felt like something was wrong. It felt so nauseating, and I was like and just exhausting. And then and then later on I realized, wait, this is actually a bad movie. I actually hate it. I think I called this the like, but no, I not. But even though I knew that this was a bad movie, eventually I never called this the worst Transformers movie. Not gonna lie. I have never said that this was the worst Transformers movie. I was like, yeah, it's bad. It's a guilty. Yeah, I said it was bad, but my worst Transformers movie has always been like a toss up between Revenge of the Fallen and Age of Extinction. Yeah, those two were the worst and are still the worst to this day. But yeah, Transformers Last Night, I acknowledge this is a terrible movie. Yeah, this movie is awful, and even now, it is still a bad movie if you may. Like, it is awful. Like, just when I thought they're like Age of Extinction that can't get any worse when it comes to the critical reception, this movie managed to be like worse. So yeah, it was. But okay, well, I may hate this movie, but I just want to ask you: is this the worst Transformers movie? No, it is not the worst Transformers movie. And I know like everyone I know says that this is the worst Transformers movie. I barely heard anyone say that it is not the worst Transformers movie. There are worse movies out there, and I think people hate on. I also think people hate on this movie way too much. Yes, I'm not defending this movie. No, I'm not defending this movie. I think this movie is trash, but in comparison to some of the other Transformers movies, people say this is the worst one. It's kind of a stretch. Like, it's no Revenge of the Fallen or Age of Extinction. Those two movies can go burn in hell and go extinct, just like what the title of Age of Extinction said. This one is actually far more watchable. Like, I'd rather rewatch this movie than those two films. If I had a choice to rewatch Revenge of the Fallen, Age of Extinction, or The Last Night, I would say The Last Night all the way. Now, I make it sound like I secretly like this movie. I'm only like trying to hide the fact that I don't like it just because everyone else hates it. But yeah, this movie is bad. I'll explain what I hate about this movie. But then when I get to the good things first, the good things about the movie. The first 1 hour is actually pretty solid. Not gonna lie, the first 1 hour it's all right, I guess. And it actually has such a pretty interesting setup. No, not the one with the medieval, like with the medieval stuff. Yeah, that part sucks. And I'll talk about it when I talk about the negatives. But let's talk about the positives. The whole concept of Transformers are being in hiding after the aftermath of major wars and cities, and now they're being hunted and terminated by the TRF. That's a pretty interesting concept. I think that should have been the plot for the entire movie. That's a street level survival movie about the Transformers being hunted down by the TRF and are willing to survive. I think that is a pretty interesting concept for a Transformers movie. Just a small scale Transformers survival movie And I like that. And I enjoyed some parts of the first 1 hour. Yes, there are some cringe-worthy moments. And although there's a scene where Bumblebee works, no joke about that. And it also a bunch of Autobots from Age of Extinction who just don't do nothing but say weird stuff. But I mean, there are things I like about this movie, like the scene with the kids, like basically after the title scene, and then like the first Earth scene, basically with the kids, and then they both see some of the destruction that happens going on, and then there is a TRF chasing them, and then they all get like saved by this girl named Isabella, played by Isabella Merced, and then with seeing these kids all together, that is actually a great scene. Yeah, the movie should have been about them. Honestly, not gonna lie, the movie should have been about those kids with Isabella being the lead character. I really enjoyed the scene. Really enjoyed the scene of just seeing her seeing her up and learning that Isabella is actually an outcast and she's such an outcast, and she doesn't have a family, and her only family is on the Autobot, and then the DRF kills off the last of her family, which is kind of be her quote unquote boyfriend. Honestly, why would a human date an Autobot? That is disgusting. Um, but yeah, yeah. So I feel bad for her, and I will say. I actually love Isabella, and I am not afraid to admit it. I think she is the best thing about this whole movie. Her character arc of having her family killed, running away from being an orphan because she didn't want to be one, and now being an outcast and living with the Autobots, and literally having like most of her Autobot family killed, and then when Canopy, like the name of the Autobots, the last of her family killed, yeah, we see her like in depression and really just searching for her family. That is far more interesting than any of the major plot points in this entire movie. And I think she might be my favorite of the Michael Bay Transformers human characters. I just love this character so much. Now, is she the best Transformers character? Well, if you count Bumblebee, then no, because you already know who's my favorite Transformers character. I don't need to say it. And yeah, but interesting setup. Yeah, it's just an interesting character. And Isabella Merced's performance is actually spot on. And to be honest, guys, I'm actually kind of a fan of Isabella Merced. She's actually one of my celebrity crushes. So maybe I might be just biased to say that because I really enjoy her character, because I had a crush on her. I mean, this isn't even her best role. Her best role is in Instant Family. Her best performance, and she also has some great stuff like 10 Things to Do Before High School, like that the Nickelodeon show she started, and what else she was in? Oh yeah, Dora the Velocity of Gold. I still hate Dora the Velocity of Gold, but I would say I love Isabella Merced's performance as Dora. I mean, but I just don't. I just think the movie's cringe. But and I never bought the idea of a live action Nick Jr. show. But it is better than the show itself. Oh, and also Sicario 2 Days of a Soldado. Yes, it is unnecessary, but I love her character in this. The only role from her I don't like that much is a Sweet Girl with her and Jason Momoa, the Netflix show. Like didn't like it that much. Didn't like her in that show that much, in that movie that much. But yeah, what else is there? So yeah, actually, I take that back. Yeah, I do like her in Sweet Girl, but I'm probably gonna forget about the movie anyway. So who cares? But anyways, yeah, what was that? Yeah, her character is great and easily the best. Oh yeah, I just realized her worst performance though. If you think this movie is her worst performance, wait till you see her in the Spirit Untamed. Oh, in Spirit Untamed. Ugh, that is her worst performance in my opinion. She's way better than this one. Although, yeah, I actually have to think about it, but I mean, her character is just interesting. I think she would make a great lead human character in a Transformers movie. In fact, my rewrite of this movie would actually be about her. So yeah, I think that that's enough of obsessing about her character. Like she just carried this entire movie. It sucks that she was barely in this movie. Like she only, like she was only like in the like first 1 hour, like only in the first 1 hour, and she and the final battle. But that's pretty much it. She was barely in this movie, but which is sad. Also, the final battle was okay. The final battle was pretty okay. I mean, there was like it didn't really stick landing because of this anticlimactic defeat scene, which I'll talk about later on. But I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, like especially with Isabella involved in the final battle. I also love Squeaky. I mean, he's just adorable. And also, there's some really cool scenes as well. Like when Optimus comes into the rescue, and then like with these Decepticons, and he just brutally kills, comes in with the fight with the dragon, and then brutally kills these Decepticons, and then he's like, did you forget who I am? I am Optimus Prime. Yeah, that is awesome. That was awesome. Not gonna lie. And yeah, oh yeah, and the score, the music is good too. But although I would say there were only like two good tracks. Excuse me. I do think Age of Extinction still has the best music in the franchise. There are two good musical scores like tracks in this movie, like the scores. Like there are two good ones, and one of them was in the what was in the trailer anyway. So yeah, specifically the final trailer. But unfortunately, that's where my positives like. I don't know why I spent so much time talking good about this movie. Maybe because I just don't hate as much as others do. But there is just so much bad in this movie. Yeah, when I mean the bad in this movie made like Michael Bay went too far and has truly jumped the shark when it comes to the bad in this movie. Like this offers some of the worst in the franchise. Like where do I even start with this? Okay, let's start with the main problem in the movie. It is so manipulative. Yeah, it manipulates you into thinking it's so brilliant, it's genius and stuff, but it's actually not genius at all. Like nothing in this movie is genius. The movie tries to make you think, oh, this is such a brilliant concept. All about living in oh, it's so cool. They're showing medieval. The times Merlin's staff is this, and Transformers connected to history. It is genius, mind blowing. Like that is great. Like no, it is not great. It is stupid. Like it manipulates you into thinking this is brilliant, but actually it's just nonsensical. Like Michael Bay tries way too hard to make us think he can write, but actually he can't. Like I can see that Michael Bay was actually trying to make a good movie, but he's just like he was like overdoing it up to the, but he tried to like push things to the limits, and up to the point where it came to a fault. Like Michael Bay kind of went a little too far, and too far, and also Mark Wahlberg being the chosen one, the last man. I mean, did he do anything to deserve it? Kate Yeager was worse in this movie than he did in was worse in Age of Extinction. I mean, if you thought he was annoying in Age of Extinction, oh my goodness, he was twice as annoying in this movie. And honestly, that's probably one thing that makes this like worse than the others. This movie features the most annoying cast of human characters I've seen in the film, and my god, they were insufferable and just tedious and just So what I mean by that, basically, how do I put this to words? Yeah, they're just cringe. I mean, full of annoying characters. Mark Wahlberg says these incredibly racist jokes. Makes fun. Like there's this new character, this British professor named Vivian, who's pretty much English, Kate Yeager literally makes fun of her being British, like makes fun of her like makes racist jokes about her British accent. I am sorry, but I mean, I feel sorry for the British people who gets offended by his racist jokes, and you're gonna hear that like around like 3 times this movie, him like telling these racist jokes, and yeah, and as much as I do it, I thought the first time was pretty okay. I guess the first half of it, um, the moment when this movie starts to become terrible, the movie when this movie jumps the shark and it becomes just plain awful movie was when the moment Coleman shows up and then just tell Kate Yeager, hey Kate Yeager, you are the chosen one, and you're coming with me, and then Kate just runs away and then just does so many incredibly stupid things like like jumping off, like trying to blow a fist fight with him, even though he's a robot, and then he just and then he gets like thrown up the elevator, and being able to carry it to hang on to the drone, and the drone just and has no damage. Like what? Like that moment, that scene with Conman there, I was like, okay, this movie is already bad, because let's be real, like in the beginning scene, with all those kids are running away from the TRF, and Isabella said no coming to save them, and any scene with her, like I was like, what can this movie, like how can this movie go wrong? What can go wrong with this movie? I mean, there's some great stuff in the sense of like when Isabella asks Kate Yeager, I mean they both have a discussion their family, and is he like talking about how she lost her parents and didn't want to be orphaned, so she ran away, and tried to make a living out of herself. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was like, how can this movie get bad? But the moment this movie comment shows up, yeah, I was like, okay, no, this movie's gonna be bad, like, and then we get to London scene, and from there on out, the movie just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, like, oh, like, worse in this movie, like, wow, like, whereas I mean, Kongman is the worst character in this movie, and one of the worst Transformers characters. I really like when I rewatched this movie. I originally thought of Kongman calling Kongman the worst Transformers character, but on reflection, no, I still prefer him over Joshua Joyce and Sam and Mickey. They're both way worse. Like, Kongman is equal, but I would say Kongman is equally just as annoying as Sam's parents. Yeah, that level of annoying, and my god, also, why does he look like C-3PO? Like the Autobot who said that that he's just call him a C-3PO ripoff. Yeah, he's right. He is a carbon copy of a C-3PO, because he is one, and Anthony Hopkins, what are you doing in this movie, and why are you so cartoonish and annoying? Yeah, apparently Anthony Hopkins in this one, and I mean it really sucks putting him in a Transformers movie. I mean like putting him in Transformers movie or trying to be the smart aleck who thinks he knows everything, but he's kind of dumb. And my god, Anthony Hopkins, you're better than this. I mean, I love him as in Silence of the Lambs, or even in the MCU, in the Thor movies, and even his Oscar-winning performance as a father. But this movie, him in this movie, oh my goodness, like it is ridiculous. And Laura Hancock's Vivian, while she is the most tolerable of the British characters, like she's a meh character in my opinion. She's meh. Like she's annoying, but at least I mean yeah, she is hot. I wish I liked her, but she's just annoying. Too annoying for me to be able to like her. So meh. So yeah, don't really like her that much. I don't even care about her that much. Like, yes, sometimes yeah she can get kind of cringy, and yeah, Um, and what else is there to say? Oh yeah, let's go back to the plot now. Yeah, the plot. Yeah, I will give this movie credit for the writing. Unlike films like Revenge of the Fallen and Age of Extinction, at least there is a story to tell. At least they try to tell a story. The problem is that there is no structure. It's all over the place, and it feels like just a bunch of sentences with no punctuate, with no period. Yeah, that's pretty much the best way to describe the plot. And there's so many like times when the movie tries to ruin the lore of medieval. It's just they treat medieval like a joke. Like basically the beginning of the movie, with the battle of the medieval time was like, I was like, okay, not bad, I guess. But then when we get to Merlin, oh my goodness, even with the 2 minutes screen that Merlin has, this movie does everything it can to disrespect Merlin, to put the giant middle finger on his face, saying, you have to be stupid and drunk to be able to be Merlin. And oh, like seriously, this Merlin acts like Jack Sparrow. Like he like especially when it comes to him getting drunk, like and also Stanley Tucci as Merlin. Are you serious with that casting choice? Did you guys remember him as Joshua Joyce? Like, did you just like, oh, you play the most annoying character in the Transformers franchise. Let's you be annoying again, and he was annoying in this movie. It's really sad to see like him like treated this way, like, because Stanley Tucci actually has some great roles, like great roles where he actually plays a real human being. Like one example that comes in my head is the manager guy and I Want That in Somebody. Now that is a great performance from him, this actor, showing that he actually has talent and he doesn't need to play a comedic guy. And Stanley Tucci, if you're watching this, please do not be in a comedy, or don't tell me you were in a comedy movie before, because he's just not funny. He tries to be funny, but he's not funny. He's not funny at all. What else is there? And okay, what else is there? Yeah, and also apparently there's this end of the world subplot where Quintessa wants to end the world. Like, but like that is over. Like this whole rebuilding Cybertron thing. It's like, are they ever gonna repeat? How many times are they gonna reuse that plot line? First, like all the Transformers movies except Age of Extinction had this rebuild the Cybertron plot, right? It's just so repetitive. And speaking of repetitive, like what is Megatron doing in this one? I mean, did we actually just see him back? Yes, I get it. Megatron is Optimus Prime's biggest nemesis. He's like the main Transformers villain, but like in this movie, you question why is he here? Because he's just there to be there. Like, he's even not much screen time yet. I will say though, I think this movie had like pretty much the best featured the best see Megatron design, but that's pretty much the only compliment I can give it. Cause man, he's just I don't know why he's here, and and there's so many questions, like so many like why, like so many questions. I mean, I don't even remember what they were. I was gonna say them out loud, but I don't remember most of them. One question I do remember, and one thing that didn't make sense in this movie, let's talk about that Optimus versus Bumblebee fight. I mean, it's not really a very good fight. Like, I mean, people hated the Batman versus Superman fight in BVS, but at least that fight feels more exciting. I don't feel any excitement with the Optimus versus a Bumblebee fight. And and he says some really cheesy lines, like, I am Nemesis Prime, you are nothing. I mean, from the same character who said that incredible line, did you forget who I am? Yeah, that is a great line, but then there's from the same guy who said that line, no, I am Nemesis Prime, you are nothing. Why? And if you think that is bad enough, and but you know the worst thing about that fight to me, the biggest problem, out of nowhere, Bumblebee gets his voice back, and then the second Bumblebee speaks, Optimus Prime becomes a good guy. Like, are you serious? First of all, how did Bumblebee get the voice? Yeah, we see Kate Yeager fixing Bumblebee's voice box, but how did he get his original voice box? How? And how did um Optimus and how did Optimus just suddenly become a good guy in like just upon hearing Bumblebee's voice? Like I will admit though the line like Optimus is Bumblebee, your oldest friend. Optimus, I would lay down my life for you. I mean that's a pretty solid line, but like why would Optimus just become a good guy just when he said it? That is like ridiculous. And also I got another question. When Optimus returned to Cybertron, why did he act surprised that it was destroyed? I mean, didn't Optimus already know in the first place that that Cybertron already fell? And he even like said like Bumblebee, your voice. I haven't heard it since Cybertron fell. Since Cybertron fell. I mean that means Optimus already knew, and even in the last film, in the previous films, it was established that Optimus already knew that Cybertron fell, and but his whole character, the whole point of his character arc is to be able to be safe on Earth. That's why in Bumblebee he sent Bumblebee on Earth to be able to make sure it's a good new home for them before Cybertron falls, and must be able to protect it from anyone who would find them there. Like. So when Optimus Prime arrives at the Cybertron, he was like surprised, like, no, my home, why is it destroyed? I mean, that is just the straight up destroying the lore of Transformers, like straight up like destroying the canon, and like what Spider-Man 2099 from Across the Spider-Verse said, like it's just breaking the canon, like doing that, like did the writers all watch did the writers of this film watch the previous Transformers film? Yeah, apparently this movie isn't written by Aaron Kruger. They hired different writers, and it seems like these writers that didn't even watch the other Transformers movies. And oh boy, let's talk about the villain Quintessa. I'll admit, I like that she is voiced by Gemma Chan. I enjoy Gemma Chan as an actress. And I like that they showed her face in the end of the movie, but here's the thing, why I mean this movie wastes her talent by making her such an ugly CGI villain, and why is she ridiculously tiny? I mean it's just so weird, and she literally has these baby hands, and she literally slaps Optimus Prime in the face with these baby hands. It's kind of funny honestly when she slapped Optimus in the face with her baby hands. It was actually kind of hilarious, honestly. It was like such a laughably bad. In fact, she's a laughable villain. Yeah, that's the best to describe her. She's laughable, and even and not to mention she was barely in the movie, so you'd actually forget that she's actually the villain of the movie. And when when Optimus faces her, I mean she gets defeated in 1 second. Like wow, like when she like when Optimus just comes in and slashes Quintessa with a sword, and then Quintessa's like, you traitor, like she like electrocutes Optimus like how Palpatine does it, and then Bumblebee shoots Quintessa and she dies immediately. Like they tried to make her out they tried to make her the most powerful gun in the world, and then she just gets defeated in just a second just by not even a big blast. It felt like a blast. Bumblebee can literally use a blast, and it wouldn't like kill on a muscle. How can it like just kill Quintessa this instant? That just makes no sense. I don't like that they showed her real face in the end though. That's kind of cool. Even though it's clearly like a sequel based on Transformers 6 that thank heavens have never happened. Heavens have never happened. Because if it happened, then, oh boy. And is there anything else to say? Yeah, Quintessa's there. And oh yeah, oh yeah. Also, let's talk about the worst thing about the film, the Michael Bay Sims. Yeah, Michael Bay does not change. I mean, is he not aware that we don't like his shaky cam? We don't and overuse of explosion. Like did he know that? I mean, no, because he doesn't learn from his mistakes. He still continues to use these obnoxious shaky cam. Now I will say the shaky cam isn't as bad as the one in Age of Extinction, because Age of Extinction has the worst shaky cam, but this movie's shaky cam is just awful. And also, of course, the explosion. But if you think that's bad enough, the editing in this movie, oh my god, the editing, like, what kind of editing is that? Like, I mean, like, there's like way too many cutscenes and way too many cutscenes, overuse of unnecessary slow-mo shots, and even and considering that this movie was filmed at an IMAX ratio with IMAX cameras, there is a constant shift between IMAX screen and normal size screen. Like it changes so much that it is just so nauseating. Like bleh, bleh, like that kind of a vomit-inducing, nauseating editing. Like like people say some of movies editing are bad, like Bohemian Rhapsody, but I think this movie has one of the worst editing I have ever seen for the film. Period. Like, I think Bohemian Rhapsody's editing over this one. Now, I know they have nothing in common, but I hear people say Bohemian Rhapsody has the worst editing for the film. That's a little too harsh. Yes, I'll admit them. I guess it's not very good if you look in depth into the editing, but actually, it's hard. It's barely noticeable. And it's just one scene that had bad editing. Just one scene. Over a 2 hours and 15 minutes movie. So, yeah, and yeah, I mean, but yeah, yeah, movies just wow. And also, not even action scenes are good. The only good action scene in this movie was well, besides the decent final battle, that lyric got ruined when the Quintessa they reached the Quintessa. Like the only good final battle was basically when Bumblebee fought off the TRF, like saved the kids to save the kids from getting attacked. Yeah, that was the only good action scene. Yeah, but yeah. So overall, while Transformers: The Last Night is not as bad as I remember it being, and there are a lot more redeeming qualities that I know, like a super interesting character with Isabella, who who deserves to be the main human character in a Transformers movie. A pretty interesting setup. A pretty interesting setup that should have been the entire plot of the movie. And some good moments there. Some moments I was like, okay, that's pretty good. And okay first half. But when it comes to the actual plot, and some of the characters besides Isabella and those kids, and some up and just the writing itself, yeah, this movie is a disaster. And I think this movie deserves to be hated. Now, when it comes to my ranking of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, I put this right in the middle. Not as good as the first and third film, but better than the second and fourth. So with that said, yeah, I'm gonna give Transformers: The Last Night a 3 out of 10. Yeah. So also for my rant on Transformers: The Last Night, what is your opinion of this movie? Do you agree with me that this movie is not the worst Transformers movie despite being bad? Or is this your worst Transformers movie? And who agrees with me that Isabella is a great character in this movie and the one who saved this movie the most? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my movie review of Bumblebee. Yeah, I'm finally getting into the masterpiece. Of that masterpiece. I am so excited to talk about this. So yeah, bye guys.